Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, April 2nd, around 8 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A major earthquake just kicked off in Taiwan, magnitude 7.5, downgraded to 7.4, and the tsunami threat is real. A threat of 1 to 3 meters tsunamis off the coast of Taiwan has been issued, and 0.3 to 1 meters for Japan. There have been tsunamis already on Taiwan. Keep calm. It's boom time. Severe storms lash central and eastern U.S., dumping rain and softball-size hail and threatening tornadoes. In fact, North Texas was hammered by tennis ball-size hail as 8 million Americans were under tornado warnings. Tuesday's weather brings hail and possible tornadoes and more. Oh my. Are you picking it up? Storm drops hail from quarter size to nearly tennis ball size in North Texas. Take a look at some of these pics. Wow. I hope you had your helmet on. Here is hail seen around mid-Missouri from yesterday. Another skull breaker there. And bad news for the eclipse coming up on April 8th. Most of the country will have cloud cover. Northeast is the highest probability of good viewing, and some good viewing maybe for southern Illinois and Indiana. Here's the hail map for Monday, April 1st. 239,000, almost 240,000 impacted by 1 inch or larger hail. 3,083 locations impacted by 1.75 inch hail to 2.5 inches. In fact, 15 square miles impacted by big hail. Over to the seismic map, and that is the big story. But first, let's get to the forecast. Widespread severe weather expected today across the Ohio-Tennessee Valley regions. A powerful storm system centered over the middle Mississippi Valley region will produce significant severe weather impacts from the Ohio-Tennessee valleys to the southeast today. Impacts include damaging winds, large hail, heavy rain, tornadoes, a few of which may become strong. This same system will also be responsible for heavy snow and gusty winds across the Great Lakes and into the Northeast over the coming days. There's the system as it bombs out very low pressure, 983 there. And you can see by Thursday morning, heavy snow for parts of the Northeast, specifically the Adirondacks, Vermont, New Hampshire, and in Maine. It's going to linger through Friday as another system brings snow to the west. Let's take a quick look at the snowfall totals. This is going to be a big one. So we're going to walk it through here. Here's Wednesday through Thursday morning. Already could see up to a foot of snow on the ground in those white regions. Thursday through Friday morning, and some of those areas, 28 inches or more showing up, 28 to 32 in those gray zones up in New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So heed the warnings. More heavy snow for the high elevation in the west as we move through the weekend. Now back to the big quake. Multiple aftershocks already happening. Wow. Dozens of aftershocks already occurring. The biggest, 6.5 magnitude just about 30 minutes ago. And the rumbling has ended, but the tsunamis are still a threat. 1 to 3 meters off Taiwan, 0.3 to 1 meters for Japan. Well, let's take a look. The earthquake triggers tsunami warnings in Taiwan. Tsunami waves as high as 3 meters, that's 10 feet, were expected immediately for remote Japanese islands in the region, including Miyakojima Island, according to the agency. Evacuate, said the banner on Japanese national broadcaster. Tsunami is coming. Please evacuate immediately. Live TV footage from the Okinawa region's ports, including Naha, showed vessels heading out to sea, possibly in efforts to protect their ships. So, I'm sure footage is coming out. We do have footage here of a strong landslide during the quake.
哦，那个加油！我的车在这边，冲的地震，汤方，冲的地震，汤方。哦，你个加油！ 我的车在这边。
And this is all over on our Twitter channel. You can see people here during the morning commute having to stop because of the shaking here on this bridge. I would be terrified. They're used to it. And the shaking stops, and there they go. Beep, beep. So, Japan, Philippines brace for tsunamis after the major 7.4 earthquake hits Taiwan. A tsunami of up to 3 meters is expected. This is still confirmed. We have no confirmation on a 10-foot tsunami as of yet. But according to this, a powerful quake rocked the entire island of Taiwan, collapsing buildings in the southern city and creating a tsunami that washed ashore on southern Japanese islands. So they're claiming a tsunami has already washed up, at least in one location. So our thoughts and prayers go out to those affected, and obviously we'll have much more information in the morning. Worldwide volcano news update: Fuego to 17,000 feet. Barren Island puffing to 3,000 feet today. Merapi, glowing lava bombs continue to be thrown from the crater there. Popo to 20,000. Merapi to 14,000. Liwotolo, 7,000 foot puff today. Fuego to 17. Sabancaya to 24. Take a look at this. The Reykjanes volcano eruption ceased in the third cone while continuing from the remaining two. That is definitely a drop down in activity as the site continues with stable levels. Santo Guido to 15, Reventador to 15, Nevado de Ruiz to 20,000 feet. Holy macaroni. Lots of puffs and passes. Sabancaya to 20. And that, Ibu to 7,000, is today's worldwide volcano news. Space weather, the sun has gone quiet all the way down into the B range. The latest HMI intensity showing a blank disk, indicative of solar minimum, while we are at solar max. You can see a tiny sunspot is about to turn into view here. So, there is that. Now, the 3-day geomagnetic forecast showing potential for G1 geomagnetic storm on April 4th due to some coronal hole activity that is headed our way. Now, the updated total solar eclipse path of totality. A lot of people were commenting when I showed that like, how didn't they know the path? See, they knew the path. That's the yellow line. What was adjusted was a tiny little area of the shadow region. So they thought the shadow cast would be slightly larger. And in fact, it's going to be a little bit smaller. So that's what's taking some of these regions out of totality. You can see the adjustment here on the east side, tiny, compared to the adjustment on the west side, slightly larger. So the shadow shape and size, man, where is that west side? Yeah, is going to be a little smaller than they predicted. That's it. The path of the shadow is still exactly the same. Now look at this headline. Trash from the International Space Station may have hit a house in Florida. Well, I can assure you it hit the house. It went through the entire house, 2 stories. In all likelihood, this nearly 2-pound object came from the International Space Station. A few weeks ago, something from the heavens came crashing through the roof of Alejandro Otero's home. Otero was home at the time, but Otero wasn't home, but his son was. A Nest home security camera captured the sound of the crash at 2:34 p.m. local time. The space junk consisted of depleted batteries from the ISS attached to cargo pallet that was originally supposed to come back to Earth in a controlled manner. Instead, it destroyed this man's home. Simple predictions were wrong. New research shatters old climate change assumption. And it's exactly the work I was doing decades ago at university as a paleoclimatologist. Here's the paper. A punctuated equilibrium analysis of the climate evolution of Cenozoic exhibits a hierarchy of abrupt transitions. So what they're admitting to is climate is cyclic. And it is more than just humans and CO2. All the links will be below. Chemicals found in popular household products potentially linked to autism, multiple sclerosis, and other brain injuries. Hand sanitizers could damage critical supporting cells in the brain. It's insane. These chemicals are found in common household disinfectants, glues, and furniture textiles, and they could damage supporting cells in the brain during critical stages of development. It's absolutely disgusting. You don't need to buy chemical disinfectants. You just need vinegar. And now this. More nonsense. CBD does not ease pain and is potentially harmful, even though millions of people worldwide claim miraculous results with the use of CBD in healing many afflictions. This is simply an attack from big pharma. The pharmaceutical industry is paying for this garbage to get in front of your eyes because natural plant remedies are curing people and getting them away from big pharma. But what we can't get away from is the U.S. economy. Debt danger ahead. Bloomberg Economics ran 1 million forecast simulations on the U.S. debt outlook, and 88% of them show borrowing on an unsustainable path. And that means something big is about to explode in the financial markets. And that's a boom to knowledge. I hope you're buying precious metals. Please smash the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. And pray for Taiwan.